This is the Rugged Revival podcast, and we are the home of the UK's country, Americana and roots music community. On the show today, we've got Texas-based singer-songwriter Jacob Ryan Marshall. Welcome to the show, Jacob. How are you, mate?
I'm all right. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. Unfortunately, Ronnie can't make it again. Stuck at work, the usual excuse. But yeah, we wish him well for the next show. But I think we'll just hand over to you, Jacob, to start with, mate. What we tend to do is just get you guys to introduce yourself in around about one sentence. Tell folk how you describe your music.
All right. I'm Jacob Ryan Marshall. I'm from Southeast Texas, down on the coast, and I play old school country and western honky tonk music.
Fantastic. So where we tend to like to start is going through your background, really. So your family, your upbringing, and things like that. So where did you grow up, and what was that like for you?
I grew up about an hour southeast of Houston, and man, I had a good upbringing. It was chill. A lot of fishing, hanging out, playing music, all that good stuff. I went to Texas A&M University, majored in animal science, spent some time working cattle and stuff like that. And now I'm doing music full time.
So completely different kind of career path for music on that side of things.
Oh yeah, for right now at least.
Is that your backup plan almost, is it?
Pretty much, yeah. Hope I don't need
No, definitely not, mate. So how did you get into music then? So I read somewhere that you discovered music from a young age, and that was through discovering your grandma's Gibson under the bed. So that sounds like an interesting story, man, to start with.
Yeah, when I was about 3 or 4, I found my grandma's guitar under the bed, and she passed when my mom was young, and so no one else in the family played guitar or anything. And I found that guitar, and I was like, okay, this is what I want to do. I want to play guitar, and it was hard to find someone to teach, a 4 or 5 year old to play guitar. So it took a while, and got into lessons finally, and started playing music. And I didn't even start playing country music. I was playing reggae music and 90s rock music and stuff, and then it just gradually progressed into playing country music.
Yeah. So you knew already from the age of 3 that was your thing, and that's what you were going to do.
Yeah. When I found that guitar, I was like, I don't know what it was, but it was just clicked is what I wanted to do.
I wish it would click with my kids as well, mate. But getting them off the VR and computers is tough enough as it is. But so was your grandma a musician then?
She played some guitar and sang a little bit, but nothing, major, no shows or anything like that, just for fun.
Yeah. So it's funny, we have a lot of artists on this show, and they tell us how they discover music. A lot of them is like it's getting younger and younger. The people that we speak to. So we had Jessie Williams on a couple of shows back, and she was joking around that she was feeling the music in her mother's womb. So we go all the way back to that stage, and then we've had some that find it later in life. So I find it always interesting to see what stage of life that you discover it yourself, and we've had a lot of child prodigies on, so that's always good to know. So what kind of stuff you kind of touched upon some of the stuff that you were listening to growing up? What kind of artists were they?
Well, so my dad listened to a lot of 90s rock, 90s alternative, and was a huge Creed fan. I mean, I'm still a Creed fan, but we saw Creed probably 10 times before I was 11 or 12 when they quit touring. And it was music like that, a lot of grunge stuff. I mean, I loved Stone Temple Pilots and Alice in Chains and all that stuff. And but my mom was she listened to country music, and all the classic country music, Haggard, George Jones, George Strait, Alan Jackson, all that good stuff. But she loved the Dixie Chicks, grew up on the Dixie Chicks and all that. So I guess I was getting older and playing all these rock songs and stuff. And I was actually I was playing down in Galveston on the island outside of a bar when I was 13, 14. And it was one of my first actual shows. And I wasn't allowed to play inside the bar. I had to play right outside of the bar. And a guy came by and he goes, you should play some Cross Canadian Ragweed because, you're kind of mixing the whole rock and country thing. And I didn't know who they were. So I had to go look them up. And and then from then on it just spiraled.
You were hooked from that point. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's interesting talking to you guys from the Texas scene because I'm finding, there's a lot of punk, there's a lot of grunge involved, and it's more prevalent in what I'm hearing with you guys putting out your own music, and that's with the influence of country music. So I think you've got a unique kind of sound. So I can almost tell if it's a Texas-based artist or someone from Nashville or Kentucky. You've got
Oh
your
yeah.
own kind of vibe and your own sound almost. That's what I'm hearing anyway. So it's interesting to kind of hear the kind of people that you're growing up listening to. So are you currently independent still?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
and you're
I
part.
work at 301 out of Dallas, and that's an independent label. Ethan runs that, and yeah. Besides that, it's me and my mom manages stuff and all that.
That's great. So your mum's a real supportive fan of what you're doing.
Oh yeah, very supportive. Very. She's the one that keeps me in check. She's always, you need to finish this song. You need to cut this song. You need to do this. You need to do that. Keeps me going.
Still giving you homework at this age, then, yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Is she helping you run your social media accounts and things like that too?
Yeah, she does. She does my Facebook because I don't really get on Facebook and never really figured it out. And she's always on me about posting. You got to post on Instagram. You got to post this. You got to post that. Because I'm not a big poster. I'm not good at replying to stuff and getting on there and posting all the time. But I'm trying to get better at it.
It's so difficult. Some artists really take to it and they love that side of things. And there's a lot of guys and girls that I talk to and they absolutely hate that side of it because it's almost like you've got to be the social media star as well as writing music and touring and gigging. It's got to be real difficult and finding the time to do it as well.
Oh yeah, that's what stinks. Because I mean, I'll play shows every night of the week. I mean, I'm playing shows 4 or 5 nights a week, and I love it. I want to go play music as much as possible. I go see shows. I go, hang out with musicians, and we write and we play. But then there's a whole other side of it that it doesn't matter how much you play like it used to. You think about, Willie and Waylon and all these guys. I mean, Waylon was Roger Miller's bass player and Buddy Holly's bass player and all this stuff. And then, he was just playing and meeting people and getting to play his own shows after that. And instead, nowadays, you can play all the time. And if you're not getting likes and follows and all that stuff on social media, then it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, yeah. It's I always have this kind of conversation with people when they come on because I'm interested to see how you feel about that. And some describe it as a necessary evil, and some describe it actually it's more attainable these days. That where I suppose back in the day where social media wasn't around, it was more difficult to kind of market your music, market you, put that stuff out. But now, at a click of a button on your phone, you can essentially
Yeah.
do that yourself without the help of a record label. It's obviously helpful to have people in the background pushing that. Is that your doggies?
Sorry, my dog must be delivery person at the door or something. Trapper. Sorry.
No, it's all good, mate. We have all sorts, children running in, dogs going. It's this type of show, but you're fine, mate. So I suppose that's a good way to start with in terms of what's the easiest way for people to get hold of you. So if they want to kind of book a show, know more about your music, just generally talk to you. Where's the best place to find you?
Yeah, well, Instagram, Facebook, I get the messages, all that. My website, jacobbrianmarshall.com. You can message me through there and anything like that. I'm pretty easily accessible. You search up Jacob Brian Marshall on Google and I'll pop up all over the place.
You'll be there. Yeah. Well, I was trawling through all of your Facebook today, and you're prolific, mate. Like you say, you're playing so many shows each year. It must be hard to keep it. So, what does a typical week look like for you?
Well, Mondays and Tuesdays are usually the chillest days. I get to try and get my stuff together, do some writing, clean the house and stuff. Because usually, Wednesday through Sunday, I'm running the roads, out of town somewhere playing a show and trying to keep everything in check. Uh, yeah, I'm always traveling on the weekends. I mean, I play all over Texas, and sometimes I'm always play a lot up in Dallas and Fort Worth, which. I'm in Southeast Texas. That's Northeast Texas. it's still a 5 6 hour drive for me to get up there to we'll go play a show up there one night, maybe 2 nights in a row, and then have to get back and play a show in Houston the next night. So it's a lot of that, and try and get out wherever I can.
Yeah, so you lead a bit of a nomadic lifestyle with all of the journeys that you take, and so what is your kind of view on the Texas scene? Because it's a huge scene, and there is so many artists, and it was interesting talking to your buddy Zach on the last show about actually how many artists there are to kind of compete against and to try and get some spots and play. But a lot of people saying that they'd never leave Texas because the music scene is that great. And there's so many opportunities. So what was your personal feeling on that?
Oh yeah, I mean, I love it. I always say my favorite thing to do besides playing music is going to see live music, and that's what I do on my nights off. I have so many musician friends. I mean, just down here around me, we have a scene of probably 20 of us that are good buddies that we all go to each other's shows. We fill in band spots, play guitar for each other. We help each other book shows. And anytime we get a night off, we all get together and write and all that stuff. And I mean, that's just within a 20 30 minute area around me. But I mean, all over the place. And there's so many different scenes. I mean, you could separate it out into, a million different scenes around here. I mean, you got the folks who play Fort Worth every weekend. You got the folks who play Dallas. There's a line of bars that book a lot of the same musicians. I mean, down here, there's 10 or 12 bars that are within 30 minutes of me that me and all my musician friends we all play. We rotate out pretty much all of us just there.
Yeah, no, it's great that you've got a little community going on. So who are you kind of best buddies, would you say, and people that you spend the most time with?
Oh, down here, there's a guy named Daniel Lynn. He's a great singer songwriter. Blake Brown and Mud Creek Revival is a great band. Some of my good buddies. Uh, Man, there's a lot of them down here. Micah Cheatham. Uh, there's a lot of country and western singers down here.
Fantastic. And I suppose dialing it back slightly because I was trying to find out as much information about you before you came on and trying to find some interesting talking points. And, like you say, you started young, you started playing lots of gigs at a young age from like 15. And there was one piece that I found about you playing the Bluebird Cafe in Nashville. So
Yeah,
I found that really interesting because I recently watched a documentary about the Bluebird because I didn't know a right lot about it, being from the UK, but I knew it seems to be like the place to kind of start out, and it started a lot of careers, hasn't it? In terms of like Taylor Swift, Garth Brooks, and some of those country artists. And so interestingly, how did that kind of come about for you?
so me and my family went on vacation in Nashville. I guess I was 16 or so. I think I was probably 16, and I had just kind of first started writing some of my songs, and they aren't anything like I sing now or anything. And it's hard to get a spot in there. You gotta call as soon as they open that day and try and get your name down on a list. And I finally got my name down on a list, and I got to go in there and play a song. And now I think back to that song, man, I wish I could go play a song I wrote now. I wish I could go play it now. But yeah, that was a cool thing. I think it was a cool experience to do and get to go play at the Bluebird. Such a legendary place. But I mean, I was playing, and back then I think the song I played, it was called "Train." I think is what I played, and I was listening to a lot of Bob Dylan and Woody Guthrie, and it was kind of a folk song, and I was playing a lot more folkish stuff back then. That was cool though.
Yeah.
Nashville's a place, it really is.
Yeah, and I suppose, like you say, the application process is so vast for getting in there. So that's amazing for someone of that age to get in and to play your own original song. So what was it like off the back of that? Did you get a lot of traction, or where did things go from there?
Honestly, I don't know if I got anything from that. I mean, besides the experience of getting to play at the Bluebird, but no phone calls or nothing from that time in Nashville. Uh, but I mean, it was a cool experience.
So who are you playing to? So I've seen obviously the documentary, and it's a smallish cafe, isn't it? So you just think it's a huge place, huge venue, but I think it's from what I saw, it's a tiny little spot,
Oh
but
yeah, it's a
it's
small little room. Yeah.
out of the
Uh,
way, isn't it? Yeah.
it's cool. I mean, there's a lot of other songwriters in there. I mean, Nashville is overrun with singer songwriters, and it's a lot of people who didn't get in there that day to play, and people would go in there to hear other music and hear new music, and people who haven't been discovered yet. There was one. There's always famous people in that place, and there was one famous gal, an actress. She was in Sex and the City. I've never seen the show, but I don't know which one she was. But they said, oh, she's in here. Yeah, I was hoping for Garth Brooks or someone in there.
Yeah, not quite the person that you wanted, but like you say, it's a fantastic opportunity, and I'm sure that will stick in your memory forever, man. But so let's dial it forward, mate. I was listening to your music today. I always like to kind of spend a day as much as I can, going through all of your releases, and you had a busy, was it 22, 23 releasing singles? I think you had about 7 singles in that time. So talk us through your kind of early releases.
So lots of the I always say lots of stuff that gets put out has been recorded, a year or two before, or even more, and written even before that. Uh, so lots of the stuff was singles that we had cut and had on hold for a while, and we did put out the full length album Music Man last March, and that was my first full length album, and it was really we had rolled out 4 or 5 of those as singles already, and then we had 5 or so more that we wanted to get out there, and so we put that out as a whole album. But thing is that rolling out singles right now gets you so much more traction than putting out one full length album that people don't listen to all the way through. When you put out a single, people listen to that, and then you can put out another one, in a month or two, and that's what the big thing is right now.
Yeah, I noticed that, particularly on Spotify, where some of the artists are just kind of drip feeding you single by single, and I think that's actually an interesting way to do it because, like you say, if you stick out a full album, will people listen to it in the same way that we used to? And maybe that's down to attention span with social media these days. It's quite quite
Oh yeah.
sad, isn't it?
Oh yeah, but yeah, especially as a smaller artist, like I mean, if like when Flatland puts out a full album, people are gonna go listen to the full album, even though they put out 2 or 3 singles or Turnpike and stuff like that. But when smaller artists that aren't really known, I mean, someone could go to the album and click on one song and think, oh well, this ain't really my cup of tea, and not listen to the rest of it. But when you roll out singles, people will listen to that song until you put out the next.
Yeah. So with the singles that you put out so far, what would you say has been kind of the most well received one?
Mm. Well, good girls go to heaven, bad girls go backstage. That one, it ain't my favorite. I mean, I love the way we cut it. I love the way it sounds. It's just as a songwriting aspect, it's not, you know, it's a party song. But that one is real fun. People love to hear that one, and we close with that at live shows. It's a fun way to end. We get real loud and rock out for a little bit. Uh, that one did pretty well. Coming down, that was a really good one. People request that song at shows, and but this last one we put out, Too Low Down to Measure. That was our first song we pushed to radio, Texas country radio, and that one's done real well too. That's more of the sound of a lot of my newer stuff that I've been writing recently. It's as close to what you're going to get at a live show.
Yeah, I really like that one that you've just put out. And has that been out on the Ranch Radio and places like that so far?
Oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah.
Fantastic, man.
The Ranch in Fort Worth, the Maverick in College Station. Yeah, there's a bunch of smaller Texas country radio stations in towns all over the place. I've uh, I've done a little bit of a radio tour, going to different radio stations and doing little interviews and talking about my songs and them spinning my songs in towns that I didn't even know had a radio station. It'll be a small town in the middle of nowhere, and go out there and do an interview, and that song is getting played out there.
That's awesome, man. It's always interesting to go out to different places to find out, well, what kind of audiences that you've got going on, and interestingly, when people post out their streaming statistics and stuff like that, you've got people listening as far as like Brazil and random places. And have you experienced anything like that with what you're seeing?
Oh yeah, the first radio station that well, so the ranch in Fort Worth, Shane Hollinger is a buddy of mine, and he is awesome. And he played one of my songs a couple years back when we first put it out, "Creek Don't Rise," and that was the first time I was ever on the radio. But shortly after that, uh, a radio station in Italy, I believe, uh, was spinning my song, and that was one of the top places I was played in Italy, which I thought was crazy. I've
It's mad, isn't
never
it?
even
Yeah.
been to. I want to
Well,
go.
that's the beauty, I think, of having these internet radio stations. And to be honest, this is where I found a lot of the Texas country music scene was through the ranch radio, which I talk about pretty much every bloody episode we have. But it is that good. And Shane Hollinger is one of my favorite DJs over there. So yeah, it's great that you're good buddies with him. But yeah, it's always interesting to answer those type of questions. But so yeah, I mean, talk about your latest album. So Music Man, is that part of a kind of wider project or an ongoing thing that you have going on?
That was probably the conclusion of that kind of that era of my music, I'd say, because it was a lot of the stuff we had done half bit at Crystal Clear Studios in Dallas and half bit at Ethan's place in Dallas, and it was a lot of stuff that we had saved up, songs we never thought we didn't know if we were going to release, uh, like puzzle pieces. We didn't know if that one was ever going to come out. Uh, we cut the demo for it and just left it there for 2 or 3 years. And we were talking about how we were going to put out songs like The Outside that we did at Crystal Clear, uh, and a couple of these other ones that we didn't know. We didn't want to roll them out as singles because we had already put out so many singles. And my music was changing and sounded different now. And we had had these for so long that we decided, how about we put them all on this one project? And that's kind of the conclusion of that, era of my songs. Because I mean, I wrote The Outside when I was 16, 17. I wrote, I'm trying to think. I started Good Girls when I was 18 and Coming Down, all that stuff. So those had been in the vault for a while, and I wanted to get them out there because I love some of them songs. It's just not what I'm doing now. It always is progressing and
Yeah.
keeps going, changing.
Times change, man, as we get older, and our tastes and our style changes as we go along. But I mean, it's interesting. Obviously, with you started at the Bluebird Cafe, and that was quite a mature song for that age, and and going through to what you're doing now. In terms of 301 Productions, then, so what is kind of the style over there in terms of how you guys set up, how you record? It was funny listening to kind of Zach talking about the early days when it was quite, in terms of production and the equipment that you had was quite small, but now going into full band and that kind of mode, it's taken off.
Oh yeah, it was really cool. So I got introduced to Ethan through a mutual friend of ours, a guy named Jordan Canales, and got introduced to him at the Tap, a bar in College Station where there's a lot of live music and stuff. And he was selling merch for, I think he was selling merch for Parker Ryan at the time. And Jordan was like, "You got to meet my buddy. He produces music. He's got this independent label." And so I met him there, and we started talking. He was like, let's talk. Let's hear some songs. Let's see if we can't cut something. And we were both living in College Station at the time. He went to A&M also, uh, and so yeah, we got to talking. We became good buddies, and we decided we were gonna cut a song. So I went over to his apartment. He had this really cool apartment that it was had like a loft. It's a cool place. We don't have much places like that in College Station, especially. And I went over there and cut just downstairs, right by his computer. Uh, it's right behind the bar district in that college town, and that's really cool because that's, place we all used to go play and hang out and everything. And his apartment was right there. And we cut Creek Don't Rise was the first song we cut there. And yeah, I was just standing. There was no booth. There was no nothing. I put on the headphones and stood in front of the microphone right next to his computer. And we cut Creek Don't Rise. And then we had Wes Barlow come out and play fiddle on that. He was living in College Station at the time also. And that was really cool because Wes had played on some, records I love and is this kind of Texas fiddle legend. And he came out and put fiddle on that song. And that was my first release with 301. And then since then, we both graduated. Ethan moved back to Dallas. I moved back down here. And, you know, I became friends, good buddies with everyone on the label, everyone who has something to do with it and hangs out. And yeah, I'm always, I go up in Dallas and play shows and stay with Ethan. And we still cut demos at his place in Dallas and even some acoustic stuff because he's built a whole studio in there. And if we're going to do full band stuff, we normally go to Crystal Clear in Dallas.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. And it's great that you're working with kind of legends on the scene as well. It's really interesting to see who guys are kind of playing with. And is there anyone else that's I mean, I was going through your Facebook earlier today, and I suppose going slightly off, but seeing the guys that you're working with at venues as well. And I saw one cool picture of you and Coulter Wall, man. So that
Yeah.
was that must have been a good time.
Yeah, we played the Westgate in Vegas during the NFR, and we played Friday night, I think, and then Saturday night, I'm sitting there gambling, losing all my money, and it's about 3 a.m. and I look over, I go, "Holy shit, that is Coulter Wall right there!" And I got so nervous. That's one of my heroes, and I'm like, "All right, I got to go talk to Coulter Wall at the bar." And I go over there, and I say what's up, and I get a picture and tell him I'm a big fan, whatever. And we walk off, and this gal that kind of put the whole thing together, she goes, he was here for like half your set last night. And I was like, no, I had no clue. I didn't see him out there, but that is crazy cool. And I met so many cool people out in Vegas. I mean, during the NFR, that's, rodeo stars, country music stars, all kinds of people out there. And I hung out with Kenny Fiedler, who I've listened to forever, and a bunch of just really great musicians. And that was a really cool thing.
That's amazing that he was at your show, and everyone I speak to says he's just the soundest dude going. So to be just out there chilling, watching shows like that, it's amazing. So is there anyone else like you've kind of met on your travels or played with that you kind of have fanboy moments over?
Who I'm trying to think. I mean, Charlie Crockett, I've hung out with a few times. He's an awesome guy. Uh, I mean, there's really a lot of them. Thing about the country music scene, especially the Texas country music scene, is that everyone, like, you think these guys as huge stars, or oh, I love this guy's music. I've listened to him for so long, and they are. But then, they'll be at the bar hanging out, listening to music the same as you are, especially in Texas. I mean, when you're in a place like Fort Worth, where there's all these legendary bars, and people are playing Billy Bob's, and they'll come over to the stockyards and hang out in those bars, or even College Station. I mean, any of these places, you'll just see anyone. It's really cool how it is down here.
Yeah, Billy Bob's is on my bucket list, mate, to come over and just watch some shows. I'd love that completely, man. So
Oh yeah, it's
hopefully
a
next year.
cool spot.
Fantastic. So let's move on, mate. We started a playlist on the Rugged Revival recently because we've had quite a lot of artists on now, and I thought it'd be good to do an exclusive playlist for people that have been on the podcast, the guys and girls that we go meet live at some of the shows. And what we've done is we give you two songs that I'm starting to kind of get you guys to pick them rather than me picking my favorites to say, well, what should your two songs be that kind of show people who you are?
Oh, this is a hard one. Uh, I love Music Man acoustic, but I don't know if that's the best representation of everything we do. I'm thinking probably Too Low Down to Measure, my newest single, and Coming Down, because people seem to really like Coming Down.
Good choices, man. We'll get that added for you. Yeah, it's something that we like to do, and I think it's like I say, I could have my favourites, but I think it's good to have what you think is a good reflection of what you're putting out. Um, in terms of stuff that you listen to personally, Len, and I suppose a lot of questions are typically, what's your favorite ever album or band and all that stuff. But I like to look at the last 10 years because we've had so much good music in that time period. And I would say, to you, what is the best album or the best single even that you've listened to in the last 10 years, and why is that?
So I'll tell you, I know we've been talking about Culture Wall a lot, but Western Swing and Waltzes and Other Punchy Songs, his record he put out in 2020 is one of my favorite albums of all time. Uh, the way he incorporates the Western and the agriculture based country music. I love that. I love that, and I love Little Songs, his newest album, also. But the Western Swings and Waltzes is probably my favorite album that he's done. Man, that's a hard question. I listen to a lot of old music too. So, lots of my stuff, it's all, Haggard and Johnny Paycheck and all that. But that's that's probably my favorite in the past 10 years. That's one of my favorite albums.
No,
Uh,
that's good.
MJ Linderman is another guy I've been obsessed with recently. And it's kind of more he has steel guitar and stuff on his records, but it's more like indie kind of music, and that guy's really killing it right now. Like Zach
Fantastic.
Top, I'm sure you get that every show, but Zach Top, I'm going to see him tomorrow at Houston Rodeo, and it'll be my first time getting to see him because I haven't got to go see him yet. And that album he put out this past year is just amazing, and that guy is just killer. I love to watch his acoustic videos and everything. Those are just you don't see talent like that too often anymore.
Yeah, it's he's really blown up over the last couple of years, hasn't he, Zach? And no, it's great. You've given some different answers because a lot of people are saying, obviously, people like Sturgill, the last 10 years, and so it's interesting to get some different names on the list that we should be checking out, and some of these albums, man. So thanks for that. In terms of, this platform primarily is about emerging musicians, independent artists, and people kind of on that got to get my words out, trajectory. So, for you, who would you say that we should be checking out from that kind of scene?
Sorry, this is I got to think about this one. Uh, Jake Worthington, he's great artist. I think he just signed with Big and Loud, but he's been running the roads playing country and western music forever. He's from town next to mine, and he's opening shows for Zach Top on this tour he's doing. Uh, he's a killer. I'm trying to think. Kenny Fiedler, like I mentioned earlier, he's been doing this for a long time, and I love some of his stuff. And I feel like he doesn't get the recognition he deserves. Tyler Halverson. Now I wish I needed to go look at my playlist.
I was going to say, who are the last people on your playlist? That's always a telling point.
Oh, Summer Dean right now.
Summer
Summer Dean.
Dean.
Summer
Yeah, we
Dean. Ellis Bullard. I opened a couple shows for Ellis in the past couple months, and that guy's awesome. Uh, there's a really good honky tonk scene that I think is kind of different than like a Texas country or whatever you want to call it scene. It's more old school honky tonk music. Ellis is out of Austin, and uh, and there's some great musicians here in Houston too. Christopher Seymour and the Western Cause plays. Those are some of my best buddies. I was just with them on Thursday, and they're awesome honky tonk band out of Houston.
That's amazing. It's funny because Ellis got a really cool shout out not long ago from the Joe Rogan show. I think
Oh
Joe
yeah,
Rogan was randomly in some honky tonk place and Ellis was just playing. So I think it was just the stars aligned that night.
I think he was at the White Horse, which is my favorite bar in Austin, and I'm not a big fan of Austin anymore with the way it's changed and everything. But there's a couple good old school honky tonks around there that put on some great music, like the White Horse, Longhorn Saloon, uh, Pootie's. There's some good bars out there that bring out some great musicians. And that's the thing. Anytime. I mean, here in Houston and around Houston, too. I'm always going to see live music, but going to other towns and going to their bars that put on good live music is my favorite thing to do. Every time I'm in Austin, I go to the White Horse. They have music 7 days a week, and they have three bands a night, 7 days a week. So it's really cool to go in there, and it'll be someone you've never heard of, and it'll be one of the best shows you've ever seen in your life. Uh, Croy and the Boys is another great band from Austin that I really like, and they play up there pretty often.
You guys are spoilt, mate, to have so many bands during the week. We typically have to wait to the weekend in the UK. So that's a big reason why a lot of us want to go out and experience some of the different scenes. So as an outsider, I mean, you touched upon Austin changing. That sounds interesting. So what's your kind of view on that?
Well, I was thinking about I live about 3.5, 4 hours from Austin, and when I was young, that was like anytime we had a long weekend or something. We're going to the hill country on a little mini vacation, and I remember when I was young, we used to walk up and down Sixth Street, which is the big bar district in Austin, and there was bands in every place, and they'd have the doors open. You could hear these bands. And when I was little, we used to walk by there. Wasn't allowed to go in the bars. My parents would take me down there, and we'd stand outside and listen to these bands. And it was like in Nashville, there's music at every bar 7 nights a week, and you'll hear some of the best music you've ever heard just from someone who nobody knows about playing in a little dive bar in Nashville. And that's how Austin used to be. And now Sixth Street has turned into more of like a club. There's DJs, and it's packed and crazy and everything. But there's still a couple good spots for live music, especially live country music. Uh,
So
but
so it's
yeah,
losing a bit of that old magic that it used to have.
yeah.
Yeah, that's a shame, man. That's a shame. But so outside of music, what kind of things do you get up to? What is there something that you're kind of passionate about that people might not expect of you?
Oh man, I love to fish. Uh, Shoot, what do I do? I mainly fish and play music. I love to fish. I like to read. Uh, I'm always with if I'm not at a bar playing music or listening to music, I'm hanging out with my family. Me and my nephew and niece are real close, and they live just up the road, so I get to see them every day. Uh, Man, I guess I need to get more hobbies. Yeah.
It's interesting because I suppose if you're touring that much and playing gigs, it's trying to find time for hobbies is difficult. But we've had some nerds on the show before where it's all Dungeons and Dragons and that type of thing, and other people like yourself that like to fish. Leon Meisen was one of those guys that. The first chance he gets, he's out fishing, and that sounds perfect to me, just to kind of unwind and relax and away from music and bars and that scene. So that sounds pretty relaxing to me, mate.
Oh yeah, I live right here on the coast, so I'm in the hot spot for fishing. I fish pretty much every day that I can, and we got a creek right here on the property that holds some little bass, so I get to go out there and toss a line whenever I want. So that's real nice.
You live in a dream, mate. That's awesome. So let's look into the future and kind of what's next in your world. What kind of projects have you got coming up? Are you looking into any collaborations of any kind of?
I don't know about collaborations. I mean, I'd like to. I got a duet I've written that I want to get cut, but it's kind of hard finding the right voice for that and everything. But I just a couple months ago went and cut some songs up at Rosewood Studios up in Tyler, Texas, out in East Texas, and Too Low Down a Measure was the first song we did there. That was our first one to get out, but we got a couple more that are going to be rolling out in the next couple months. Some of my favorite songs I've ever written, some of my favorite songs I've ever cut. I had some world class musicians on there, and I had before, but these are guys that I've never cut with until this record that I'm really excited to have out. Uh, Adam Goodell on steel is one of the best steel players I've ever seen. Probably actually the best steel player I've ever seen in person. And to get to have him on a record is just a dream. And that whole band that cut with me up there is just killer.
Yeah, awesome. And you say you're looking at that single where you might have another singer with you. Would that be a female kind of artist that you'd be looking for?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, I wrote this duet 2 or 3 years ago. Uh, it's called Kansas. I got cousins up in Kansas, and every summer I go spend some time up there. And yeah, I wrote this duet a couple years ago in Kansas, and been trying to uh, shape it up and get it ready, and then find someone to come sing it with me.
Yeah. And what's your usual process for that to find somebody? Is that through people that you know, or is that kind of reaching out to wider networks?
Well, this is my first time I've ever done it, so uh, I've thought about people I know. I know some great female singer songwriters and stuff, but I might be reaching out to people. I might just see who likes a song, who could relate to a song more, and would want to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. Well, it'll be interesting to keep kind of tabs on that and see what you do with it. But so you're obviously touring all around Texas constantly. Are you looking to kind of expand on that in terms of different scenes or even abroad, places like the UK even?
Oh, always anywhere that wants me to come play music, I want to do it, and I love to travel. I mean, it's my favorite thing. I love to go places I've never been before, and I played Kansas last summer. A couple different spots in Kansas, and we played Vegas in December. And I'd love to get even a small Oklahoma, Kansas, Arkansas, something like that. Yeah, I've been talking about doing something like that, booking a run up through there. It's hard to get guys who are my band is Texas based, and my drummer and guitar player, they're a little bit older and they got families and stuff. They don't want to be gone on the road for that long. That's why it's easy. Not I wouldn't say it's easy to do Texas, but it's easier because I mean they live 2 hours north of me, and they're 2 hours closer to Dallas or Fort Worth. So when we get to go up there, go elsewhere, it's not that bad for them. They can go stay a night or two and get back home. But when we're gone for you know a week, 2 weeks at a time, they're like, oh, I want to be at home with my wife and kids. Well,
It's tough going, mate, isn't it? Like you say, it's logistics of it, it's personal family lives, and yeah. So I don't blame you. It's a tricky one, but I suppose at some point you're going to have to go to Italy, seeing as you've got a new fan base over there, man. So that seems like a good excuse to take a trip that way, and
I want
Italy's
to.
lovely.
A dream of mine to go to Europe and stuff. I went to Mexico on a cruise in December of 2023, and we're off the boat for 8 hours. I didn't even need a passport or nothing, because it's we're just in a little tourist town. But that's the first time I've ever been out of the country, and I really want to get to go to all these places, especially if I get to go play music there. That's a dream of mine.
Awesome, mate. Well, I hope it happens for you. So, in terms of kind of supporting you and beyond, I suppose, streaming your music, what can fans do? What can we do to kind of help and kind of progress what you need?
Oh man, I got merch for sale. Come out to a show anywhere I play. I mean, obviously in Texas is where I am most of the time, but uh, Yeah, I can sell merch online. I can ship whatever. The streams help. Calling your radio stations, asking them to play my music helps. Giving me likes, follows on all that good stuff. I mean, that helps the venues. You know, the more followers you have, the better venues like to book you.
Yeah, it could be a pain in the arse sometimes playing the numbers game, but like you say, it's a necessary evil, mate. But if we can all do that, and the people listening, yeah, give them a follow, man. It's all helpful. But is there anything else that you want to plug, dude?
Not really. Keep listening to good country and western music. Supporting small artists. That's the best thing you can do.
Awesome. Look, I really appreciate you coming on. It's been fun speaking to you, man. And yeah, I encourage everyone to give you a follow, go listen to your music because it's awesome. And I can't wait to see what kind of stuff you're bringing out next because it all sounds good. But we always sign off with a little toast. So I don't know if you've got a drink or anything, mate. If you haven't, just give us a thumbs up. But we normally say we raise a toast to the grit, the grind, and to the revival. Thanks, everyone, for listening.